The air in the lawyer's office felt heavy mid. My husband Arthur had been the server owner of our family's wealth, but now that he had logged off for good, the lobby was filled with tension. I was sitting there, my grief debuff at 100%, trying to hold it together. Then, Leo walked in. He wasn't mourning. He had that main character energy that made everyone sick. He was wearing a high-drip suit that cost more than a starter home, and was busy flexing on his phone. "All right, let's speedrun this," Leo said, not even looking at me. "Mom, you're old gen. You don't need the $92 million loot box. Just sign the admin rights over to me. I'm a pro player in the business world. You can just despawn to a nice retirement home in Florida. Don't be toxic about it." I looked at him in 4K resolution. This was the son I raised. He was ghosting my feelings in front of the lawyer. "Leo," I said, my voice hitting peak performance, "you think you can just spawn into this fortune without the grind? This wealth has lore behind it. Your father and I built this from the alpha phase." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Leo, there's a hard-coded condition in the will. Your mother is the system admin. If you want a single dime, you have to pass a 1-year vibe check. If you fail, your inheritance is perm banned." The aftermath of the will reading was pure chaos. Leo didn't just walk out of that office. He main character strutted out, thinking he was about to speedrun his way into a life of infinite gold. He didn't even vibe check the situation. To him, I was just an old-gen NPC, standing between him and his $92 million loot box. He immediately headed to the high-tier luxury car dealership. I know this because I had a tracker mod on his spending habits. He walked in there like a whale, pointing at a mustard-yellow Ferrari. "Wrap it up," he told the salesman with maximum cringe energy. My dad just logged off, and I'm the new server admin. But while he was flexing for his Instagram followers, I was at home with my laptop, performing a system-wide wipe. Arthur and I had hard-coded the family trust with 2-factor authentication, and I was the only one with the admin key. With a few clicks, I perm-banned every single credit card in his inventory. I nuked his access to the cash flow and set his daily limit to exactly $0. The salesman swiped Leo's gold card. Declined. He swiped his black card. Declined. The aura loss was instant. The dealership staff, who were just simping for his business, suddenly looked at him like he was a default skin noob. "Sir," the manager said, his voice hitting a toxic tone, "your financial stats are null. You need to despawn from this showroom immediately." Leo came charging into my house an hour later, his face rendering in shades of bright red. He didn't even knock. He just glitched through the front door. "Mom, what is this griefing? My cards are hard-locked. I just got roasted in front of 20 people. Give me the access key right now." I was sitting in the garden, looking legendary in my designer sunglasses, calmly scrolling through data science articles on my tablet. I didn't even look up. "The server is under maintenance, Leo," I said, my voice ultra smooth. "You wanted to be the main character, right? Well, main characters have to grind for their gear. You called me a beggar at the lawyer's office, so I decided to give you the authentic beggar experience." "This is toxic," he screamed, his energy meter peaking. "You're gatekeeping my life. I'll report you. I'll cancel you." "Go ahead," I replied, finally looking at him with 4K clarity. "But until you pass the vibe check and complete the redemption quest, your inventory is empty. If you want to eat tonight, there's a low-level McDonald's down the street. They're hiring burger flippers for minimum wage loot. Go farm some real-world experience, or log off from this house. The tutorial is over, son. Welcome to hardcore mode." Leo was hard stuck. With his inventory empty and his gold balance at 0, he had no choice but to spawn at the local McDonald's. It was the ultimate aura loss. This was a guy who used to flex $500 steaks on his story, and now he was wearing a low-res polyester uniform with a name tag that might as well have said noob. The job quest was nightmare difficulty from day one. Leo didn't know how to grind. He thought he could AFK, away from keyboard, through his shift. But his manager, a tryhard who took burger flipping as seriously as a world championship, wasn't having it. "Yo, Leo, Stop lagging and get those fries out. This isn't a cutscene. It's the real meta. Move it or get kicked from the shift. I decided it was time to stream snip his struggle. I didn't just want him to work. I wanted the whole server to see his character development. I hired a professional camera crew to stealth film him from a van across the street. We went live on every platform with the title, The 92 Millionaire, from God tier drip to minimum wage flip. The viewer count went nuclear. Within 10 minutes, 50,000 people were in the chat log, absolutely flaming him. LMAO, look at his face rendering when the grease hits him. He went from main character to NPC real quick. Absolute cringe meta. This is what happens when you grief your own mom. While the internet trolls were roasting him, I decided to do a drive-by in my Bentley. I pulled up to the drive-through window, looking S-tier and high-key expensive. Leo looked up, his face covered in fry oil and second-hand embarrassment. "Welcome to, McDonald's," Leo mumbled, his social battery at 1%. "Can I take your order, Mom?" "I'll have a reality check with a side of humble pie, Leo," I said, my voice hitting 4K clarity. "And make it quick. I have a guild meeting at the country club. Also, your hat alignment is low tier. Fix it. You're losing clout by the second." "Mom, please, this is toxic," he whispered, looking at the hidden cameras. "I'm getting ratioed on Twitter. My sanity meter is in the red." "That's just feedback, son," I replied, handing him a $1 bill as a tip. The ultimate petty move. "You're finally farming your own XP. Don't quit game now, you're only on level 1. See you at the end boss fight tonight, if you survive the dinner rush." As I drove away, I checked the live stream. Leo was now a global meme. He had 0 aura left, but for the first time in his life, he was actually working for his loot. The redemption quest was officially live. Leo's sanity meter was hitting the danger zone. After 2 weeks of flipping burgers at a low-tier joint, his social battery was completely drained. But the true final boss of his nightmare wasn't me. It was his girlfriend, Tiffany. Tiffany was a high-tier gold digger who had only simped for Leo because of his future loot, 92 million. Now that Leo was hard stuck in the minimum wage meta, Tiffany was starting to glitch. One night after Leo finished a back-to-back double shift, he crawled back to his low-res apartment, only to find Tiffany waiting with maximum toxic energy. She wasn't there to give him a health buff. She was there to raid what was left of his spirit. "Leo, look at you. You smell like deep fryer and failure," Tiffany shrieked, her aura hitting negative infinity. "Where's the designer drip you promised me? Where are the S-tier vacations? I didn't sign up for this beggar life. If you don't hack into your mom's safe tonight and loot those legendary jewels, I'm yeeting out of this relationship for a whale who actually has gold." Leo's brain was lagging. He was simping so hard for Tiffany that he couldn't see she was a system virus. Desperate to keep his status symbol girlfriend, he agreed to a stealth mission. Tiffany gave him a script. "Your mom has that antique diamond necklace that's worth a god-tier amount of cash. Just loot it while she's AFK, sleeping, and we'll sell it on the black market to respawn our luxury life." At 2 a.m., Leo crept into my mansion, thinking he was invisible. He thought he could social engineer his way past my security, because he still had the legacy key to the side door. He moved through the hallway like a noob in a stealth game. His stealth stats were absolutely trash. He didn't know that I am the server admin. I had upgraded the house to 4K security resolution, with motion sensors and night vision rendering. As soon as he touched the access pad to my vault, a system alert went off. The whole room flooded with mustard yellow emergency lights, and the admin siren started blasting at max volume. I stepped out of the shadows, looking legendary in my silk robe, holding a tablet that was live streaming his attempted heist to his own followers. "Caught in 4K, Leo," I said, my voice hitting peak performance. "You just soft-locked your entire future. I gave you a redemption quest, but you chose to grief your own mother for some gold digger clout. That's a perm ban offense." Leo fell to his knees, his aura completely deleted. Mom, please, it was Tiffany's mod. She told me to do it. I'm wrecked without her. Tiffany has already logged off from your life, Leo, I said, showing him a screen grab of her sliding into the DMs of a high-value crypto billionaire. She was a bug in your system, and you let her corrupt your data. Now, the global mods, the police, are outside. You didn't just fail the vibe check, you nuked the entire relationship. As the blue and red lights rendered against the windows, Leo realized he was no longer a main character. He was just a banned user in a world he no longer controlled. The prison arc was about to begin. Leo was now hard-locked behind bars. The server admin, the police, had taken him into custody after his failed stealth raid on my safe. His aura wasn't just low, it was negative infinite. He was sitting in a low-res holding cell, wearing a bright orange default skin jumpsuit that didn't have a single bit of drip. For a guy who used to flex on private jets, this was the ultimate D-ranking. The prison quest was the most toxic environment he had ever faced. There were no simps here to do his bidding. The other players in the cell block didn't care about his $92 million loot box or his social media clout. To them he was just a soft-target noob who didn't know the meta of survival. "Yo, golden boy, pass the tray," one high-level inmate growled. His strength stats clearly maxed out. Leo tried to act alpha, but his confidence meter was glitching. I don't take orders from NPCs, Leo stuttered, trying to use the slang he heard on TikTok. The inmate just laughed. "This isn't a simulation, kid. You're hard stuck in my biome now. If you don't optimize your attitude, I'm going to delete your teeth." While Leo was getting wrecked in the dungeon, I was busy patching his digital existence. I didn't just want him physically locked up. I wanted his digital legacy wiped. I used my admin privileges to buy the very social media platform where he used to flex. I then shadow banned his main account and replaced his bio with a global alert. This account is under maintenance due to low integrity bugs. Tiffany, the gold digger who yeeted out of his life in Part 4, tried to slide into the DMs of the guy who bought the penthouse Leo lost. She was trying to upgrade her sponsor meta. But I had already blacklisted her from every high-tier event in the city. She was now as irrelevant as a level 1 mod. After 48 hours of mental lag, I decided to pay Leo a visit. I sat behind the glass partition, looking legendary in a black designer coat. Leo looked finished. His sanity meter was flashing red, and he had 0 HP left in his spirit. "Mom, please, reset the quest," he sobbed into the intercom. "I'm hard griefing in here. Tiffany is ghosting me, the mods in here are toxic, and I can't render a future anymore. I'll do anything. I'll grind for 20 years. Just get me out of this soft lock." "You tried to loot the person who spawned you, Leo," I said, my voice hitting 4K resolution with 0 emotion. "That's a game-breaking bug. However, I've decided to drop a redemption key. I've paid your bail, but you're not coming back to the mansion biome. You're being teleported to a community service camp in the middle of nowhere. No Wi-Fi, no drip, no clout. Just manual labor and self-reflection. If you log out or rage quit, the $92 million goes to a no-kill animal shelter, and you get perm-banned from the family tree forever." Leo looked at the bail papers like they were a legendary item with cursed stats. He had no choice. He had to accept the quest or face game over. The redemption arc was getting hardcore.